Are we back? We're back, right? We're back, right? Yeah. I don't know what's been going on with my internet lately, but yeah. Gonna try and get through this somehow. I'm gonna lift up the camera again. Oh, so yeah, let's have another look at what we have in here. I'll figure out the wiring once we get to that part. We have, thank you for choosing Fishman. Our goal in the company is to provide patent, limited warranty, user guide, fluence pickups, pickup height, tilt, troubleshooting. They do not come with pickup surrounds, which I didn't realize, so I'll have to use some crappy ones that I have. However, all the parts came in this box. While everything is nicely organized and whatnot, it's just all the parts are in a separate box, which is fine. I mean, it's a cardboard box as well, which I appreciate, so everything's not covered in plastic. But yeah. Oh dear. Okay, so we have some heat shrink ready prepared, and looks like it's going to be interesting wiring process for me. Just checking if there's nothing. Yep, nothing underneath. And no pickup surrounds here. No. I usually don't like surrounds at all, but for this it has been routed in a way that kind of make me need to do that. Pots feel okay? Yeah. Let's look at the... It's a bit hard to get out of here. In there pretty tight. I'll wiggle them out when I need them. But for now, I do need to see if I have any pickup surrounds. Hope so. Bag of bits, which also reminds me that I am going to put back all this stuff that's fallen out of a bag. There. I don't like the strap buttons that are on this, so I'm going to switch those out for some D'Addario clip locks. That's what I usually use, so that's what I'm going to go with on this guitar. Okay, we have one pickup surround. I know where I can get a couple of more, so that's not an issue. Need that. It's for the straps, or the strap blocks. Alright. I will need to use that in a bit. That is my tool to remove the bridge, because I'm going to do a little bit of finishing on this just to get it really, really nice. Okay, move those back, that goes back, that goes back. I'm basically gonna just start compiling all the things that I'm gonna need for this guitar. few things. So those are new parts. All well and good. There. Oh, that was not it. No, that's much bigger. All right. Ah, yeah. Switch those out for black. Don't believe I have the black screws for the strap locks, but I guess that's fine. Sure. All right. Like so. That's one. And the other. There. Now, a couple of things that need doing. For sure on this are that might fix my issue that I'm thinking of right now. Let's have a look. So on the back, the heel joint is something that I don't really appreciate. When I went back and redid this the first time around, or fixed up a couple of issues that I had, made the new neck and stuff like that, and filled up the pickup cavities, rerouted them. I made the heel joint a little too close, so now that one, there you go. So that one washer is just standing way too proud and pokes into your hand when you play. So I need to fix that and make that into something else. But let us remove the strings, and we probably won't be able to do too much to the body because some routing needs to be done to fit the battery pack in there, and I can't really route here because I do live in an apartment building, so doing routing here would probably be a very bad idea. But we can work on the neck. That we can do. And I did mention that we'd be doing some sign design, but we'll see if we get to that. Technically, I could cut the strings because I'm going to put new strings on this, and we're not going to get this finished today anyways. But if I don't need to, then that's all well and good too. Now, the reason as to why I am redoing this guitar and making it my personal guitar is because I have the goal of finishing my first solo record this year for a multitude of reasons. One of the reasons is because I started the record 10 years ago and I still haven't finished it. There's a couple of parts that, or a couple of songs that I've just kept on re-recording, and some songs that I haven't recorded almost any or at all. I did do all the drums though. It took me half a year to record all the drums because I'm not a drummer. But the way I sampled them, because I used that electronic kit, and I played through everything, but then I wanted everything to have the same sound for some reason, and I didn't use MIDI back then, so I recorded the headphone output of the drumming, so a singular mono track, and then I took a, oddly enough, very clippy sample of each drum hit, and then I went painstakingly and I replaced every single drum hit with the sample. So I also need to convert all those drum samples probably into the GGD One Kit Wonder metal, now that I have it. I had, because I don't own any amps, well, I didn't, now I do, I have the little Micro Terror, but I didn't own any amps back then, so initially I recorded everything with, due to recommendation from Chris Clancy of Meeting Within and Wearing Scars and stuff like that, and producing a lot. He was also my vocal coach at the time. But due to his recommendation, I got the Revolver Mark 3.5, I believe, I think. So that's where I recorded all the, or used to reamp all my DIs back in the day. Then when I started re-recording things, I started using the Easy Mix plugins, which don't really function either to my liking. But now with Neural DSP killing it, I am going to reamp everything and retrack everything that isn't actually, you know, up to par. More than likely going to be a whole lot of re-recording to be done. So I aim to do all the re-recording that needs to be done with this guitar. And seeing as there's a lot to be done amongst all the IP stuff that I need to do. The endless struggle of music making it, right? Yep. Hello! Welcome. But that is the endless struggle, yeah. I mean, this album has been 10 years in the making, but at the same time as I wrote this record, I wrote another one, which there's no way that I'm going to get that one done this year, but I'm going to try and start recording it during the summer. Now the reason why I haven't done any recording for that one is because while the first record, so some heavy proggy stuff, the first record is just me doing everything, which is a lot of work. So yeah, doing all the vocals, doing all the producing, doing all the everything, all the instruments and stuff like that. Mixing, mastering, probably. The second record, which is more of a, I don't know, pop, rock, metal, prog. It's an amalgamation of a lot of things. That record is something that I want to have a lot of other participating musicians doing other things. Is the full-length album more like an EP? You could go Spirit Box route and just drop singles instead. Yes, I could do the Spirit Box route, but I am going to do that instead with my actual band, Bloodblind. This stuff is just like a sort of side project thing. The first record, Darker Tides Approaching, which is the name of it, is essentially 10 songs that I wrote back in 2011. I started recording in 2011. And something I wish to finish at some point. Then I have the second record, which is going to go under a different moniker, sort of more of a band route. That is also, quick tip, if you need to get out two pneumatic posts, just use the right kind of bolt and get it all the way to the bottom of the hole. Yeah, so that record is also going to be full length. That has, I believe, 10 or 12 songs as well. Then there's another side project which has 8 songs. Then there's another side project which is Death Falcon, which is the Star Wars heavy metal thing, and that has 10 songs on it. One still to be one still to be written, so it's gonna have 11 songs. And then there's the Bloodblind stuff, and that I cannot speak too much about just yet because we haven't announced anything. But that is gonna be more along the Spirit Box route, drop singles and drop an EP or EPs. We'll see how things go when we get there. And then there's just a bunch of singles for random music bits. There's like this very, very heavy, brutal, heavy, like death metal song that I wrote just for, you know, shits and giggles, and that's gonna come out at some point. What I am thinking though, that because I'm gonna be doing a lot of this music stuff, while I usually stream all the guitar building and whatnot, I kind of want to stream the process of me making these songs and recording the things. Every now and then. Might be interesting just to kind of diversify the channel a bit, and I'm going to be doing it anyway, might as well stream and make content out of it, right? Nice. Personally, I find DSP a bit too expensive for my liking, but that's 150 euros for a plugin with tax. A bit much for me, but it's purely money-wise. I do get that. I really do get that, but fortunately, I managed to get both the DSP Archetype Nolly and the GGD One Kit Wonder Metal plugins when they had sales on, so I got them pretty good. I'm sticking with Nailix free plugins. Amplex has 50 amps if I'm correct. Sweet. Yeah, I mean there's so many good free plugins out there nowadays. It's just I'm not the techiest person out there, so whatever I can get with as little need for tweaking is better for me. Granted, when I start streaming, making music stuff, you're going to see me tweak a whole lot of things. And yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to that. Even though it's something completely different for a channel, I think I should more do what makes me happy when it comes down to it. And if people like it and enjoy watching the stuff, then that is purely a plus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this apart, put the parts into a box somewhere. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Parts box. It's a bit small of a parts box, but I think it will do the trick for now, at least. Does this even fit in here? Oh, it does. Sweet. There. Okay. One thing that prevents me from buying an interface is the fact that I have zero knowledge about it. The best way I find is just do it by, or learn by doing. That's how I learned all the stuff. I pretty much all the stuff that I do nowadays is because I just started doing it without any teaching and looked at YouTube tutorials when I got stuck, or asked people on forums how to get past a certain roadblock. That's how I got around to it, and I've been, doing okay with it. But yeah, I'd love more music recording streams. Okay, awesome. There's plenty to work on. There's the Death Falcon stuff that needs more doing, needs a little bit of fixing up. I need to record all the bass lines for that. I don't have a bass, so I need to borrow a bass from probably my bass player in the band. Get a bass from him, because mine is currently in parts. And also a project that I need to do. And yeah, there is a bass behind me. I do understand, I do get it, but also it's a customer space. I wouldn't feel too comfortable using it, but also there's a couple of things about it that make it not ideal for me to use, and I'll show you. While the Death Falcon stuff isn't drop C, I'll grant you that. This would work, but it's fretless. I do not know how to play a fretless, and it is tuned. If this is the drop C, this is a low G. I just got an idea. This might work for a couple of songs. I gotta ask Johnny if I can use this for a couple of songs, because it might be pretty cool to add some really low drop G, low end to a couple of songs that I have in mind for the Death Falcon stuff. Meanwhile, for my solo stuff, the first album, Darker Tides, that is, well, it's going to be in a very weird tuning. See, I learned to play guitar because I'm a huge Devin Townsend fan. I learned to play guitar, by playing Debbie's songs, which are in open C. So I started playing in open C, started writing songs and stuff like that, but then I really liked how open B sounded, but I thought, why not go a little step further? So I play, most of the songs on the first album are in open A sharp. So that's A sharp, F, A sharp, F, A sharp, F, C sharp, I think. Nope. I can't remember now. D? D. D is the last one, I think. I really can't remember. Alright, let's get these off. Yeah, they're just pull. The stuff I want to write has pitch shifts in it. Look! The thing came off. Yeah, sorry. The stuff I want to write has pitch shifts in it. Drop C to drop A pitch shift, but I want to get it in F sharp territory. My LTD 25.5 isn't going to like that. I'm probably not going to like that, but hey, look at it from this point of view. Architects play in drop C, but they have the F sharp, and they have 25, or Josh Middleton at least, he has a 25.5-inch scale length, just a very thick string on the low. I think it's like a 70 gauge string that he has on the low F sharp, but they get by just fine. Granted, oh, what's his name? The other guitarist, Christian? No, Christian's the bassist, I think. No, I can't remember. The other guitarist in Architects, he at least has a baritone. But Josh uses a 25.5-inch scale length, so you might be just fine. They get away with it, and it sounds killer. It's just more about your string gauge than anything else. Alright, okay. What I'm gonna do is remove the back plate. Oh, remove the strap buttons, because we're not gonna need those no more. I love the fact that it's like this. The title of the stream is Upgrade Time, and basically all I'm doing is just literally taking this entire thing apart. So yeah, don't need those strap buttons. Gonna put the little bits in here so I don't lose them. Okay. Get this out. The back plate also feels very much like an afterthought from this guitar. Like I needed some material, and I just had leftover stuff from the neck. Use that, but hey, at least it is some wood that is already on the guitar. Really, I know Mike Stringer from Spirit Box used multi-scale or a 26.5 7-string. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, Architects 6-string and drop C with a low F sharp is what they play. And you can even check it out for yourself, and they sound meaty. Sounds great. Oh, look at that. It's very simple, tidy wiring. There's not too much extra. Now I'm going to put double the amount of stuff in here for the Fishman stuff, so that's going to be fun. Oh, would you look at that? Thank you for the follow. Hello. Sorry about that. Girlfriend came home. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna put double the amount of wiring in here. But hey, there are 2 new followers, and thank you so much for following. We are now that much closer to 100 followers. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. Like every single follow, like the 22 that I now have, it's 22 more than I thought I would have. So yeah, thank you. Oh, I don't need that anymore. That's that one. Yeah. Oh, I don't need. Put it in that bin. So yeah, changing out the jack completely, or the jack plate completely to something else. So I'm not going to need this one that I have in here now. Wait, latest album? No, latest Spirit Box song. Dude, sounds so good. The Circle With Me? What they called that? I can't remember what it was called, but it is a freaking good song. I love me some Spirit Box. Yes, Circle With Me. There we go. Yeah. Dude, Courtney is a beast. A force to be reckoned with. She's so good. And I remember back from like high school, and come on. I admit that we might have made a little bit of fun of the whole I Wrestle the Bear One stuff, but we did know the songs, and we did know how they went, and it was sort of a guilty pleasure type of thing. Listening to I Wrestle the Bear Ones back in those days. Oh, hey, Miniman, which Discord? The Trivium Discord? Or your own Discord? How'd you find the channel, by the way? I'm just interested. Yeah. Alright, so now I have the wiring separated from the guitar, and the only thing that I'm keeping is the switch, because Fishman has its own stuff. I'm just gonna I'm not bothered to take out the soldering iron. I need to clean the, oh, that came off way too easily. Map from Trivium. Oh, sweet. That's freaking cool. Well, I have to thank Matt for that. That being said, I'm guessing it's Miniman, right? Is how you say it. Have you seen the guitar that I'm working on for Matt? It was a few weeks ago. No, can I see? Of course. So, currently I have been working on the inlay, and yesterday I got 2 pieces in. I still have 2 more pieces to go, but here's the neck for it, and you might recognize the beginnings of that, maybe. Wait, I'll come a bit closer. There. So that's the beginnings of the kanji inlay. Just gonna grab the body. So yeah. Here we go. The MKH Daedalus. Alder body, Carillion birch, veneer top, ebony fretboard, 3-piece walnut neck. And yeah, it's gonna be freaking sweet. I do plan to put 11 to 56 on my LTD, though for drop C's, the sharp sander tuning kind of drop. Yeah. Or drop D. Yeah. 11 to 56. That sounds like that's pretty much what I'm gonna put on this, and it's gonna be an open A sharp. So yeah. Thank you, Miniman. I cannot wait to finish this up. It's gonna be so cool. There's its sisters are also getting worked on at the same time. This is a part of the first, I guess the first true prototypes of my models. The first prototypes are a little more derived out of planning things out and designing stuff. They're not as close to what I'm going to start making as this is. Keep the neck there because I need to work on that soon enough. Put the body back. But yeah, so that's going to be coming up. I hope to finish that guitar sometime during the summer. Or I hope to send that to Matt sometime during the summer. It's also going to be the first guitar of mine to have the higher gain output pickups from the pickup company that I endorse, Gongus Pickups. They have 2 different kinds of pickups, and that's the first one to have the higher gain stuff. 6 or 7 string? It is a 6 string. That's the one that I need to fix, so I'll leave that still. I really hope that I have enough room in my pickup, or the control cavity for all the wiring. I should. Yes, it is a 25.5-inch scale length. That is what I usually go for. It's just what I'm used to. What I like personally on my guitars, so it's what I use the most. Oh, do you need these? The one annoying thing about this guitar also is that when I was making it, of course, because I did the heel joint, I didn't shorten the screws, so the screws ended up poking through onto the fretboard, which is a big no-no. So now I'm gonna check on if I should. I'm gonna take away some of this. So I had a couple of shivs in there. I'm gonna see if I have it flat down, what kind of angle I get, because I might get a new bridge for this. Because I don't necessarily like the bridge that I have now. Okay, 12 mil. Yeah, so I could use this bridge still. It's fine. It is completely fine. But now I can get it lower down. And if I need to, I can even sink that in. We'll see. Okay, I'm gonna put the neck aside for a bit. Put it there. By the way, I still remember that green stained oak top guitar. It looked amazing. Do you still have it? Yes, I do still have it. So that is the first prototype of the Icarus model. This one. Here it is. I believe this is the one that you were talking about. So yeah, birch body, oak top, mahogany, and rosewood neck with a Wingate fretboard, and it is probably not in tune. Not by a long shot. Yeah, I really like this guitar. I really do. But yeah, not really something I can necessarily sell at any point, but it is a good case in point of where I started off from. This model has changed a lot since this, and it has already changed quite a bit since the versions that are already behind the camera right there. Come on. There's lovely. Oh, thank you very much. Not fully to my spec, but I dig the looks of it so much. Well, I appreciate that. I really do. Neil Zaza's Sig body. I'm gonna have a look at what that is. Neil Zaza signature guitar. Let's have a look. I'm curious. Oh, it's a Kiesel, right? Yeah, okay. Huh. Interesting. It's very PRS meets like a Super Strat. It's a very interesting shape. Carbon. Okay. Yeah. At least it has a volume but no tone. I agree. Less is more. We had a very long discussion about this. I'm not sure if you were there. I think you might have been, when we discussed whether complex or simple wiring is better, or simple electronics. I'm always a supporter of simple electronics because you know, anything too crazy and it goes over my head. I am but a simple man. Come on, get out of here. Well, at at least I've put them in place properly because I can't get them out anymore. Yes, I was there where we were talking about complex and simple. Yep. Yep. Oh yeah, that was it. That was it. Yeah. I remember now. Come on. I can't get these out. Well, I can get this one out. Can I? What the hell? Are they stuck? Ah. Alright, see, that was giving me issues. I just wish pickups were cheaper. Oh, yeah, I know that mood very well. Okay, so I might just switch that up for just a singular washer. Maybe that works. See if I have a better one. Technically, that would work. Doesn't look nice. Only thing about this is that it's not countersunk, but that's not the end of the world. I could countersink it to make it fit a bit better. Oh, yeah. See you, man. Thank you for stopping by. Do pop by next week. So I'm going to be streaming every Wednesday. See you, man. Thank you. Alright. Yeah. So I am pretty much trying to find some way of making this work for me. Should I just have it? Might look a bit weird if there's no thing there. Decisions. I do need to knock these other ones out because I do need to do some finishing on this. But how am I going to get them out? Nope. Did I tell you that the one time I was working on my build, I realized that classic strap witches don't fit in a 40 mil. Yep. That is, that's also reminds me of what one of my guitarists, or one of the guitarists in my band had. He got himself an S-type Ibanez, which are the really, really thin body ones. Got new electronics for it, but the switch, of course, didn't fit in there because it's such, such a thin body instrument. So, had to put the bolt back. Man, I have really butchered a good part of this guitar back in the day. There's a lot of work ahead for me to make it what it should be. It's pretty rough. I'll show you a close-up in a little bit, but wow. Pretty sure that these adjustments will bring it to a whole new level. little splintering that I need to fix. Alright, have a look at that atrocity. That's all kinds of screwed up. Needs to be fixed. Alright, so for the screws, however, I do need to shorten a couple of them. A good bit. Might need to shorten these as well. Let's have a look how deep they go. Not gonna lie, strap whip switch just switches so nice. Now I need to get a Chinese style switch for. Yep, I gotta agree with you in that they are really nice. I think these might be just fine. Yeah, I think these are fine. Back of the neck. But I shall work on them at a later date when we get to that point. So yeah, know that we're going to use at least 3 of these for these holes. But yeah, that last one is something that I need to really think about. If I could countersink this, might work a bit better. Might be able to do. Might just need to drill a bit bigger. We'll see. But I'll put it in the bits box. Bits box for now. Yeah. Next up, I need to have a look at this. So I need to probably use a step drill to get my new jack socket in place. Yeah, because it is a .8. This is 21.2. Okay, so it's not that much. But I could clear it a bit more because I do, then the outer diameter is 25. So I got a good bit to work with and make it a bit larger. Angle it ever so slightly. Yeah, so things that are going to happen to the body. I need to sand a good bit of it, refinish it, well, drill the input jack, correct? Not sure if I want to. Maybe I don't need to inset this at all. I was thinking whether I wanted to lower the bridge. I'll probably keep it the way it is. Whereas for the neck, I need to remove this. There. Easy enough. Remove the nut. I'm going to put a new one in place. I might make that look a bit nicer because I usually don't have truss rod covers on my necks because I never use them. But other than that, the neck has very little stuff that needs done, so could do that now. horrendous noise, but that was that. Oh, the body also needs a hole for the battery pack. But yeah, there. Isn't that much better? Put in the tuners. Might as well. I mean, the neck's not getting that much else done to it. As it is. Of course, I'm going to do all the, fret polishing, stuff like that to it. For now, at least, it is done. Hold on to those screws. Those are for the jack. Close that up. Put my electronics in the electronics bag. Surely I have some more Ziploc bags. I do, but they're not big enough. Okay, well, oh wait. No, yeah. We're not big enough. So I'll just have to put these unceremoniously in there. Like so. Right, let's have a look at these new tuners. Maybe a stupid question, no such thing. But if you apply enough pressure to a wooden radius sanding block, could that change the radius of the block, resulting in a different fretboard radius? Over time, yes. But you would need to really apply a lot of the similar type of pressure to it constantly and all the time. And it very much depends on what wood the radius block is and how dry it is and how hardened it is. If the radius block itself is hardened or already an extremely dense wood to begin with, then you should be just fine. But yeah, if it's softer and you keep on applying the same sort of pressure to it to change its radius, then yeah, that can happen. Oh, these wings on these tuners are much larger. And my headstock is too thick. So, turns out I will need to take this to the workshop. Look at that. So, yeah, I don't really have too much to work with. Because the washers and the nut probably won't. I can try. It might sit on there. Doubtful though. Okay, thanks. Radius sanding still scares me. If there's one thing that I've learned from any process at all, but usually I've always applied it to working with power tools, but it works the same way with any process. If you're scared or very apprehensive about a certain process, you're going to be constantly thinking about it, and you're far more likely to actually make mistakes than if you try and keep yourself calm and just concentrate on what you're doing. Because if you're worrying about it, and if the whole process scares you, it's going to take that little bit away from you actually concentrating on what you're doing, and you might start making mistakes because of that. Because the brain is a stupid thing. At least that's what I've noticed. happen. Okay, it might work. But what I'm worried about now is the distance between the tuner hunters or the tuners. Ooh, that's coming real close. I don't think they're gonna fit, if I'm honest. They're really, really tight. Really close together. These ones aren't even gonna go in, I don't think. So, I think I just created more work for myself. Yep, look at this. So I need to fix that up, because right now it is a royal mess. Darn. I'm gonna have a look at how close I've actually drilled these. It is cramped, like really cramped. So cramped that they're kind of rubbing off on each other. Which is far from ideal. So I might need to plug the tuner holes, re-drill them, and while I'm at it, I might as well thin out the headstock a little bit more, because currently it is maybe a tad too thick. Let's have a look at my measurements here. This neck was built 4 years ago, something like that. So my measurements might not be the way I do it now. Right. So usually what I do is I have like to the center of the tuning hole, or center of the tuner hole, from the side of the headstock, I usually do 13 mil, and then the distance between the holes, I'll do like 30, maybe even more than that. But so the distance is 10 mil from the side, except for the low E, which is 13, and the high E, which is 14. Those are 13. They are 25 mil apart. So that is why they look cramped, because they are cramped. And to be fair, usually I use the tuners that have the part where you put the screw in. I have it on the side for this reason, because I don't like them at the back here. I didn't notice that these ones were like this, but I'll work something out. Yeah, I need to plug the holes. I really wouldn't want to veneer it, but now it's starting to look like I might have to, which means I need to remove some more material. Even more annoying. For inline headstock, I just kind of followed the strat dimensions. Yep, I mean that's how I did my first few headstocks, but I'm not used. Back then at least, I wasn't used to doing 3 aside. So when I go to the workshop, what I have to do is use the belt sander to bring that down a little bit, so I still keep the volute. Then I probably need to prop this up somewhere and remove material off the top of here, possibly I just bring this, yeah, I'll bring this down from the back. I'll plug the holes, clean it up, and then do a veneer on the front. What I'm thinking for the front veneer, if I have any here, is some walnut. Just so that it fits with the rest of the guitar. Don't have walnut here, but I should have a big enough piece of walnut at the workshop where I can do this work anyway. Just a little bit annoying that I have to do more work than I originally intended, but so need to remove the headstock logo as well. How I'm going to do that, no idea. Ah, that came off nicely. So while I'm at it, I might as well make the where are you? Make the logo look a lot better than what it does now. Okay, cool. Well, not really, but yeah, it is what it is. Put these in here so they don't get lost. Close that up. But yeah, assessing, kind of good to assess the damage. Planning things out properly before actually going to the workshop and trying to take a swing at things. I do need the pickups rounds. There. 2 pickups rounds. Okay. Interesting having a look at my old previous work and see how I fared back when I made this. That looks to be in pretty good shape. I have hit it with a drill bit before, I can see that, but it hasn't damaged the Allen key on it at all. Good. Very good. Clean that up. Okay. So, yeah. More work than expected. Great. That is also going to go in the pile to go to the workshop. For the body, to clean some of this up so the veneer on the top doesn't get damaged, because that is very thin. Okay. Let's mark out where they want the battery pack to go. I think what I checked was somewhere around here. this end. So 5, and it is how thick? That needs to come out. Battery. There. These are also the first active pickups I've ever had, so yeah. Battery pack's gonna go there. So forward to getting this up and running, and yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be interesting. I don't know if I need to really check anything else. Nothing we can really work on at this point either. Have a look at designing the sign. What? Yeah. Alright, we'll get into that. Not now. I am going to repair that before it checks off. Will get sanded down properly, so flood that with super glue for now. Yeah, I think other than that, should be pretty good to go. Yeah. What time is it? 18:35. Oh, hey, I forgot. There was one question on YouTube that somebody wished me to explain further. So I had the very old video of me doing a refret on a guitar, and the question was, may I ask to have a list of the tools on your next video? So, just as a recap. So, when it comes to refretting an instrument, the essential tools that you will need, and I'm also going to add in or include the tools that you need when it comes to doing fretwork. So, starting off with removing frets, you're going to need these. So these are fret pullers. They're not clippers per se, but the way that they work is they have a flat on the top that you press up against the fretboard, and you slowly wiggle the frets off, or to get the tangs out of fretboard. I'll show you here. I'm not gonna pull the thing, but yeah. So basically, it sits on top of the fretboard like that, and you can really get in there and grab the fret and really start working your way through. Once you've removed all your frets, you are probably going to need to sand down the fretboard, because you're going to have probably a little bit of chipping and stuff like that. So a fret leveling beam will work very, very well, or I should say not a fret leveling beam, a leveling beam will work very well. Get a couple of different kinds of sandpaper on there. Make sure you get your fretboard all the way up to what you want it to be, 320, 400, something like that. Work through the grids and ensure that you don't change your radius. Now the way to do that is either with using a radius block instead of the leveling beam, which already has a preset radius. If you don't know what the radius on the fretboard is already, then I suggest just using a leveling beam, because you might not have the right kind of radius block. The way to see what radius you have on the fretboard is by using some radius gauges. These particular ones have 4 different sides with 4 different radiuses, and you can just check what the radius is on the fretboard. Helps you keep things consistent. Once you've done that, your fret slots are now going to be probably pretty full of dust and whatnot. You can easily, if you can't brush that out, or if you can't use a vacuum to get the dust out, you can use some kind of tool like a fret slot cleaner. This is pretty handmade. It's just made from some spring steel with teeth cut into it, and use that to get rid of all the excess stuff in those slots. Now you're ready to start refretting the instrument. Before you do that, I would really strongly suggest using a triangular file. So a file like this, just a couple of swipes across the fret slots, and you'll make it that much easier for the fret to kind of seat in a little bit easier when you're hammering it in. Now I said hammering in. If you don't have something to push the frets in, you can use a fretting hammer, which is my preferred method of putting in frets personally. And you can get these from different suppliers. This one is a crimson one, custom crimson one, with a flame nipple handle and something that my dog has chewed up. Yeah, and basically the way to go about it is let me back up for a sec. Before you hammer things in, you are going to need to cut strips of fret wire already somewhat roughly down to size. Don't cut them exactly to the right dimensions yet. You want to leave a little bit of excess, not too much that you're wasting material, but enough for, that you don't have too little. So cutting the frets, I would already at this point use some I have these Napex fret cutters. They're amazing. I would suggest using something like this. Now, hammering in the frets, what you want to do is you want to first tap in both ends and then go from the middle outward. So start really hammering in and going that way. Or basically what you're doing is you're seating the tangs in at the very end, and then because you're hammering things like this, you're getting the tangs to go in and out, which means that they won't pull out of your fretboard. If you just hammer everything straight down like that, your tangs just go straight down, which means that they can come straight back up again. Once you have hammered the frets in, it is time to use the fret cutting clippers. These are Napex clean cut clippers here, and basically all you do is you just snip off the very ends flush against the fretboard. Now that you have that done, take out your leveling beam again and sand away up until they are completely flush with the fretboard edge. That way you're eliminating any sort of tangs poking out or any sort of fret ends poking out and stabbing you. You can also do this with the use of oh, food's ready, gotta go, was fun talking to you, see you next time. See you next time, man. Thanks for coming. So, you can also use a fret leveling file to do the same job. And the next job you want to do is you want to add a little bit of a bevel onto the edge of your frets. You can also use a fret beveling file, which looks like this. Basically, it already has that angle in there, so all you need to do is just file along the edge of your fretboard there. So now what you have is you have everything flush to the side, and you have everything beveled. Next stop is actually leveling everything. So first, of course, make sure that your fretboard is, or your neck is straight. The easiest way to do that, once you have frets in, is to use a notched straight edge. And that will immediately tell you if your neck needs adjusting. This has a tiny bit of a bow in it, so I would need to adjust it a little bit. Because when you start leveling your frets out, you want your neck to be as straight as an arrow as possibly can be, so that you don't get any high or low spots in your frets. Now, mark out or mask off the fretboard, but leave the frets open. Use some permanent marker to mark each fret. Then we can use a fret leveling beam, or a leveling beam, or a fret leveling file to get everything leveled. Now, go about it very carefully. Don't apply pressure because that bends the neck. Just let the sandpaper or the file do the work. You don't need to push too hard. You shouldn't need to do too much. Once that is, ongoing, you can stop every now and then and check with a fret rocker to see if you actually are getting everything leveled out. If the fret rocker does not rock like this, then you should be okay. I wonder if I actually have any example frets here. No, I don't. But this is a very important tool to have so that you can check that your frets are actually going in level. And it basically has 5 sides, and each side sits on 3 frets. So one here, one in the middle, and what you're trying to avoid is the fret rocker rocking. So if it just sits on the frets but it doesn't rock at all, doesn't make a noise like click click clack clack clack, then everything's like nice and true. If you are getting on any edge, on any positions, you're getting something that does make a sound, then you just have to keep going until everything is nice and flat. Once you're done with that process, you can also do a fall away, which I would do by putting a few layers of masking tape on the 12th fret and masking tape on half of a leveling beam, and then basically doing the same process but the very last frets, and then you're creating a sort of ramp which makes lead work feel a lot nicer. Once that part is done, then mark out your frets again with your permanent marker, and then get to crowning your frets, and you can use a fret crowning file to do that. Now, these are typically this sort of three-sided file with an edge that has been ground down so it then doesn't damage your fretboard at all. And what you're aiming to do is, now that you've marked everything out with a permanent marker, you have a rather thick line. You want to make that as thin as possible, which means that you're bringing the intonation point to an actual point. Once that part is done, you can actually remove the masking off your fretboard and use a smaller file. Once again, a similar sort of thing where you have ground edges so you're not damaging your fretboard, or a Z file, which also has a ground edge. And now you're just taking off the ends of your frets, just with a couple of swipes like that, and making them nice and rounded so they feel nice to the touch. Once that part is done, you can mask up your fretboard again, and now it's time to start polishing. So first things first, you have a lot of scratch marks left over from files or the leveling beam going this way, which is something they're going to hear if you're doing bends, because it's going to have this sort of scratchy sound. You want to eliminate that, so I would usually start with some 320 paper just wrapped around my fingers and sanding this way, so along the frets, which makes that now you have scratches going that way, which doesn't affect your bending at all because you're bending in the same direction with the scratches. Moving on from there, you can also go to like higher grit papers. I don't usually need to, because from there I move on to fret polishing rubbers. Now these particular ones are from Crimson Guitars, once again, and I'll show you. Basically, sort of like erasers for just, you know, your pencil and whatnot. Come in different grits, so there's a very coarse that you start with, and you just rub each fret, and you're slowly starting to bring up the polish. Now these all have a little bit of grit in them, and I can't remember what the grits of these are. There are similar products out there from a couple of different manufacturers, but yeah. So these ones that I have, there's a very coarse, a medium, a fine, and a super fine. And that usually brings you to the sort of fret polish that you'd see from a factory-made instrument. And that is essentially that. You can also go a little bit further and use like chrome polish or stuff like that to really bring them up to your mirror shine, but usually that we should do. And of course, after everything's said and done, condition your fretboard with like a lemon oil or something like that to really bring out the really bring out the grain, make sure that it's not dry. And I have now been using the D'Addario, I think, oil or Dunlop oil. I can't remember which now, but that has worked really nicely, and it's a really nice product. So, going through all the tools for refretting an instrument. Oh, you're back. Hi, I'm just doing a wrap up now. So, it isn't necessary to have all these, but you asked what tools I used, so here you go. These are tools I used. Removing the frets with fret pullers, cleaning up the fretboard with a leveling beam, and a lot of other work that needs to be done. Clearing out the fret slots with some tool. You can use a lot of different things for this, but I have this fret slot cleaning tool type thing. Then you want to cut your frets, and this will also be used for cutting them flush to the fretboard. So these are Napex flush cutters that I have. Any kind of cutter will usually do just fine, as long as they get cut through the material. A fretting hammer, hammer in the frets. Oh yeah, small triangular file to open up the fret slots to make the frets go in a little bit easier. Frets are in, again, leveling beam or leveling file. Then a fret and beveling file. Then a fret crowning file. Come in a couple of different sizes. Fret end dressing file also works very well. Then the fret polishing rubbers. So that's a good bit of toolage for a job like that. It is a very lengthy process. Oddly enough, I hear a lot of people complaining and not really liking that part of guitar building, or repairs. I don't mind it. I actually find it somewhat therapeutic to rip stuff out, put most stuff in. Yeah, it's all well good. It's up to what you kind of like, and I hope that, as lengthy as an explanation as that was, I hope I covered everything in your question. Thank you very much. That was a very good question. I have a Hosco black cutters for stainless steel. Maybe that is also a good mention. Yes, the Hosco black cutters for stainless steel. Those are also really good. And if you have binding on your fretboard, you will need fret tang nippers. I say you will need. I don't have any. I just use the Apex cutters to cut some of the tang off. And then leveling beam to get it nice and sanded out, or a bottom. That was a lot of explaining, and I think that is probably it for today. I'm just gonna clean things up. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Where'd I put the there? Oh, straight edge. So what we learned from this is that there's still plenty more to go when it comes to the wrap. There's a lot of work that needs to be done to it, but I look forward to it because I know that the end of it, it's gonna be so cool. It's gonna sound so good. I hope, as long as I don't screw it up somehow. Knock on wood. Yeah, I gotta be honest, it's like, I don't know any luthier who says it's like, you should definitely come luthier. Well, let me rephrase this. Every luthier that I know that has had somebody come up and say, it's like, I'm gonna start getting into guitar building and start a company building guitars. The first thing that usually the more experienced luthier said is like, oh, I'm so sorry. Let's just say that people who build guitars, we don't do this for the money and the fame and everything else, because there is very little of that. Just a sec. one that we're very passionate about. In most cases, that is, no, not in most cases, that is exactly the reason why you should be building guitars. If you're very passionate about doing it and you want to do it, and you have a certain drive and a need to do it, then by all means, go for it. But if you're trying to go into it to actually make a living out of it and make a lot of money out of it, then I suggest going into a field where there is money. This is not for it. Aimbot. Yeah. I need to work on my settings to really get through or destroy the bots. Destroy the robots. Try again in 50 years. Fadalka only sold like 50 guitars in 2018. He'd have to pick through the orders to see which ones he liked. Yeah, there's some builders who were lucky enough to do that. Whereas I'm just hoping that one day I will have a shop of my own. Every day though, it's getting closer and closer to that goal. I'm getting more and more frustrated with my day job. Sorry, yeah, because I was wondering, is like doing the tag, I don't think that they do tagging, and you gotta admit your name also is inconvenient at this point, aimbot. What was I talking about? I gotta remember. Yeah, stuff, things, other things, and other stuff. I am so tired. Whew. Didn't even realize how tired I was until I started cleaning things up, and boy. I am gonna go, and I'm gonna see you guys next time. Private workshop, right, that was what I was talking about, yeah. Every day is getting closer to that, and I've already closed all my books for this year, which is a very good thing, because, well, I just don't have the resources to do more builds, but I do have 7 builds that I have to finish this year. And I have some big projects like building the guitar for Matt, which is bonkers. And I hope that there's a lot of things that will be big steps, big milestones coming up. So yeah, should be all well and good. Now, if I can only start getting viewers on YouTube, that would be great. But hey, Twitch has been great. Today has been a really good day for streaming, and thank you for watching. Yeah, I'm sorry, the stream's ending, but hey, I've been going for almost 2 hours, so there's plenty for you to watch when the VOD comes up in just a little bit. So, but I thank you very much for joining the very end of it. It does mean quite a bit that you did come up and say hello at least. Yeah. Thank you for the stream. Have a good one. Yeah, you too, man. I'm gonna go make and eat dinner. Bye. Catch you guys next time.